Hey Frugivore, welcome back to Frugivore Diet Channel. So today we are going to react to Cheap Lazy Vegan. Rose from Cheap Lazy Vegan, one of her What I Eat in a Day. And this is fairly highly requested, so it's time that we do one. And I don't know a lot about Rose. Okay, I don't have much of a backstory, except the fact that she seems to go everywhere where fruit-based is being written off and being put down and supports it.
Bitch, I ain't following no raw diet, okay? That's just my 2 cents.
She is almost always there as one of the top comments. You know, one on Mike the Vegan's video. Oh my God, the fructose thing is so interesting. Finding an explanation to this crazy fruitarian diet. You know, and there's just so many comments of her putting down a fruit-based diet. It's very disappointing, and it kind of tells me all I need to know, really.
My diet cannot be more cooked. Me and a raw vegan, we have literally completely different diets. I actually probably have more in common with somebody that eats meat than a raw vegan.
And as like a few of you know from the Mike the Vegan video I did, Rose used to be very supportive of me, very supportive, and likely went vegan from my influence, but probably won't admit that. But, you know, like heaps of supportive comments when I was trending, you know, when it was popular to do so. But now it's popular to support Abby Sharp, even for vegans, apparently. You know, Abby Sharp did a review on her diet and she was like so, you know, gushing like, oh my God, thank you so much. And like, just, it's just very, very disappointing. This is a meat and dairy pain and suffering supporting dietitian, you know, someone who is being paid to promote meat and dairy. It's just like, you know, I would never support that individual. I don't care if they try and suck up to me in a video. I would actually tell them the truth, you know, but she's just like, oh, thank you so much. Like, I'm so honored kind of thing. And I'm like, what is wrong with the world? You know, that is definitely not something that you would expect from a vegan. So yeah, my feelings on Rose are she's very uneducated on optimal human nutrition. She doesn't get the fact that we're frugivores, obviously, because she's left all these comments everywhere just writing off the diet. But it's trendy to do so, isn't it? It's trendy to crap all over raw vegan and fruit-based diets. But anyway, hopefully today we can help educate Rose and help her realize that sweet fruit is fantastic. Fruit-based diet is where it's at and you're a frugivore. Anyway, let's get into it. If you want to see more of these videos, give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. Just do something if you want to see more of them. All right, let's get into it. Well, here we are on Cheap Lazy Vegan's YouTube channel. She has 743,000 subscribers. This video is called Realistic and Easy Vegan Meals, What I Eat in a Day. And so unfortunately, yeah, she's always in there bashing raw veganism, fruit-based lifestyle. But let's see what she eats in a day, okay? Because she's very loud on writing off a fruit-based lifestyle, which is incredibly healthy, as we know. So let's see how she eats.
It's going to be very difficult for you to A, even get enough calories, and B, actually get enough nutrients. I genuinely believe this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another What I Ate in a Day video. Let's just jump right into it. I am starting out with, of course, black coffee, as always.
Did you hear what she said? I'm starting off, of course, black coffee, as always. All right, so this is what she does all the time. This is like expected. You would expect this from Rose. Like she said, of course, as always. And that means, we know what that means, right? She has a deficient diet. Yes, you can have a deficient diet as a plant eater.
Actually get enough nutrients.
She is showing this right now. She's starting her day with a substance rather than real food, real nutrition. Can you see that? You know, this is a clear indication of a deficient diet, namely in sweet fruit. So, you know, it's all very well to write off a fruit-based diet, but then it's quite hypocritical when you're starting your day not even with actual like food, but drugs. So not a great start.
This is how I start my morning every single morning. And I've been using this French press. It's just been easier. I used to use the pour over method, and I feel like this is like easier. So, yep. Fastest way for me to get my caffeine. I'm all for that.
Wow.
So I like to always have my coffee.
Fastest way for me to get my drugs. Fastest way to get, you know, like, let's call it what it is, because caffeine or coffee, it's kind of like a euphemism, right? Let's just call it what it is. It's the world's most widely used drug. It's a psychoactive stimulant. It's an iron inhibitor. While we're on the coffee, just quickly, I know she had a blood test up, so let's go and have a look at her ferritin stores. Let's go and see how they are looking, because you know that having coffee, having caffeine, it is an iron inhibitor. So it's not going to be helping to have, drugs, obviously, for your ferritin, for your iron. So let's check it out.
Okay, ferritin. So I think this is an interesting one because I think this is about iron. Yes, ferritin is a blood cell protein that contains iron. So is this how they measure iron, or do I have to ask for iron separately, guys? Let me know, okay? So do I have an iron deficiency? Let's find out. So my reference range, 13 to 375. That's a pretty wide reference range. My result, 28.
Okay, so I can't see her saturation here, but her ferritin is 28. All right. So between 13 and 375, that is a huge reference range. It is towards the lower end. It's within reference, okay, but it is definitely towards the lower end. And my one, it's hard to compare exactly, but my one is 86 UGL. Hers is 28 UGL. So it's just something for her to keep an eye on, okay? Because if she's having iron inhibitors, I bet she's having cacao as well. It's just something to keep an eye on. She could deplete herself if she's not careful, if she has a whole lot of these iron inhibitors.
Black. I don't like to add anything else. True coffee lovers, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways.
True drug lovers.
Now let's move on to breakfast. I had this sad looking piece of zucchini, so I'm just cutting that up so I can add that to my breakfast.
Okay.
So I'm just going to cook it up on a pan.
So she's having a cooked breakfast. And you know how I feel about this. There is no excuse not to have fruit for breakfast. Okay, especially if you're on YouTube, you're watching YouTube, you're making YouTube videos, you can have a fruit smoothie for breakfast. You are a frugivore. You need to get the fruit sugar in. And some of you might be like, oh, she's trying to be relatable. She's trying to make it easy for people. This is harder. Frying up something, cutting it up, frying up something like this is harder than having a smoothie, or harder than just eating whole fruit.
Okay, and I'm just adding a little bit of garlic salt. I'm not going to add any oil. No need. But if you want, of course, you're not making this. I'm making this.
Okay, so maybe she is reducing her oil because she wants to, I don't know, get leaner, stay leaner. I'm not exactly sure, but I do know that she made a video about losing weight through calorie restriction, and we know that doesn't work long term. We know it doesn't work, but Rose doesn't have a lot of education when it comes to nutrition. She admits that herself, so she's kind of just following that diet industry model of calorie restriction.
So we're just going to cook it up a little bit, and then we're going to make one of these TikTok fold wrap.
That looks very, 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 very wartime. Let's just say that. See, this is something that I really don't recommend that you put in your body first thing in the morning. Okay, very dry. Those grains have been sitting around for a long time. Then they're milled. They sit around a long time in the packet. Then you buy them. It's a process. We don't need to be eating like this in 2021. We're not in wartime, okay? We don't need to. We can have fresh. We are fresh, hydrated bodies. We need fresh, hydrated food, especially first thing in the morning. Very, very important. This doesn't have a lot of vitamins because there's a lot of heat-sensitive vitamins that are just killed on processing, especially on heating. Okay, so it's not a good start. And you got to look out for those glyphosates that are sprayed on the grains, and then you take them into your body and store them. Like fungicides, herbicides, pesticides. You don't want that.
So we are starting the first quadrant with some avocado. I'm just mashing up an avocado on the first quadrant.
Well, good to see there's a fruit, but you know how I feel about avocado first thing. It's not ideal. You're not getting you're not getting fructose. Where is the fructose here? It's very important. Fructose is so important that the human frugivore brain will create fructose out of glucose. Okay, when you don't have enough, the brain will create it out of glucose. That's how important it is. It's really important that we intake it. And I think that's more of an emergency state when you're not getting enough, but you don't want your body to have to create it. You want to actually intake it.
So I'm going to add some black beans on top of the avocado. I thought this was a good idea because then you can kind of stick the beans on,
I would definitely recommend this for later, if you're doing raw till 4 or something, maybe have this occasionally, but for dinner, because this is not going to give you that real energy hit that you need first thing.
Here, we're kind of making a taco style sort of thing.
So the tomato sauce is going to be sweet. So she's going to get a little bit of fructose here. Okay. She's going to get a little bit of glucose, fructose. It all breaks down into glucose, but she's going to get a little bit of that sweeter there because you need it.
And next I have that zucchini. I know, super random, but again, I was using things up. Okay, we're gonna add that to the third quadrant. And then in the last one, I'm gonna add some coconut yogurt. This is the PC plain coconut yogurt, and it's so good as like a sour cream replacement. Oh my.
That's great. That's great that she's having a sour cream replacement and she's recommending that.
So
that white wrap is so incredibly processed. Like it's just going to be very, very difficult on your digestive system. You know, whatever, realistic. Yeah. You can call it whatever. All right. But I'm just going to give it to you straight. This is difficult. This is very difficult on digestion. I'm just letting you know. But if you want to have it here and there, okay. But I wouldn't make it a regular thing, and I definitely wouldn't make it for breakfast.
Now you want to just toast it on a pan, which is what I'm going to do here. I just like to dry toast it. You can also like grease the pan, and then that'll be even more delicious.
It seems like she's dropped the oil, right? So maybe she has been listening to dropping the oil because it is just 100% refined fat. Lamp oil adds to your fat stores. It's not going to benefit you in any way, okay? Devoid of nutrition.
A viral wrap, which everyone's making now.
I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. No, not for breakfast.
Tell me, okay? I post what I ate in a day video.
So she seems to have lost some weight for sure, but you know, it's going to be temporary unless it's good that she's got the oil out. That is a great step, but it is going to be temporary if she doesn't, eat enough. She needs to satisfy herself every time she eats because you're actually creating deficiencies when you're restricting yourself. Even if it's a couple hundred calories, 500 calories, you're creating deficiencies because your body actually is asking for nutrition, and you're like, no, and you put your hand up, you're saying, no, you can't have it. So just remember that.
Those like random,
and that's why you have these binge outs. That's why individuals like Rose have binge outs, because if you're calorie restricting, it does not work long term. People gain the weight back. There's a lot of studies on it. It's just, it's very, very common to gain it all back.
And halfway through my wrap, I decided to also add some grape tomatoes.
Good. She got some fresh in there. Up until then, there wasn't any fresh. You saw that. It was just cooked.
To my plate. And then now it is time for lunch.
Protein pasta.
I'm going to make a pasta salad. So I have this fusilli pasta. So I'm just weighing that out.
So that is the protein pasta. Like the protein push that Swayze has been doing on YouTube has been like pretty nonstop, right? Protein. And a lot of these other YouTubers have followed what she says for some reason. I don't know. Why do they think she knows what she's talking about? I'm not sure. But this whole protein obsession, I mean, it's pushed in the mainstream as well, but it's in the vegan plant-based movement as well. And it's just really sad and very unnecessary and just shows when an individual doesn't have much education in human nutrition.
Pasta, and obviously you can have the broccoli fresh, but I think I like cooked broccoli.
By fresh, I mean raw. Yeah, that's it. It's fresh, right? We are fresh beings. We need fresh food.
So that's just me. Anyways, in the meantime, you can prepare the
other. So she's got more protein based, like the beans and the tempeh, and again, where not a lot of carbohydrates. Like the first meal that she had, had some carbohydrates, but not a lot of carbohydrates, real like quality source of carbohydrates, glucose, fructose.
It's really, really nice. It's almost like a healthy kind of tzatziki style, kind of, not fully. Okay, but
so there you go. She's got this like mix of pasta. It's high protein. Remember that this is not a high carbohydrate pasta. It's more of a high protein. So, there's more protein in here than actual good carbohydrate source. It's quite a small serve as well. At least she has some green in there. And some veggie.
High in protein, delicious, fresh.
Okay, high in protein. You heard her say that. She definitely has that protein focus. Fresh, there is some fresh, but it's definitely not fresh. Where is the sweet fruit? I haven't seen any sweet fruit yet.
So good. And then for a snack, I'm having an apple. Yeah.
Oh, okay, one apple. It's good to see some fruit, but only one apple. That is kind of like very mainstream amount of fruit.
Look at me eating fruit. Very good. And recently...
Well, maybe that's something new. That she is having fruit because, she's having no oil, it seems. She's having kind of less fat, it seems. More fruit. Good. That's what I recommend.
I have like a sweet tooth sort of situation. I've been enjoying these smart sweets.
Why, when you've got a sweet tooth situation, would you go to fake fruit like this? Why? Just because it's convenient, I think. She does call herself cheap, lazy vegan. But, I mean, it's probably going to work out cheaper to get fruit. It's obviously nutritious. This is just fake fruit. It's just,
Having the sour gummy bears, I think these are supposed to be like healthier, slightly lower calorie.
I think those ones aren't even plant-based. I looked at those in another video. Look, she can just have fruit. right? She can just have fruit and that is fine. Let me just check up whether these are plant-based or not. Okay, no, they're not plant-based. So she just had boiled skin, tendons, ligaments, bones from cows or pigs. Like, wow. So she's been vegan like since 2015 or something, like 6-7 years or something. And I can't believe she made that mistake. It's literally the second ingredient. Like, I don't know anyone who doesn't actually read the ingredients on these packets. You know, just eat fruit. That's all I'm saying. Just eat fruit and then you won't be caught out eating animals like that as a vegan.
I think these are supposed to be like healthier, slightly lower calorie candies.
Okay, so hear what she said. Healthier, slightly healthier. She doesn't know anything about it. It's actually like, it's not even plant-based. It's not healthy to eat this fake sugar mixed with animal bits and pieces that have been scraped off the slaughterhouse floor. Yeah, so obviously she's focused on the calories. She says it has less calories because she's about calorie restriction. It does not work, Rose. It's not going to work for you. And also in her blood test, I noticed that her fasting glucose is 5.5 and the max is 6. Mine was like 4.6. And it would be really, I think, good for her to get a HbA1c test to see her, average blood glucose levels over 3 months, over 2 to 3 months, because that does show you if you're at risk of prediabetes. Like just getting that fasting glucose is not enough, but it does indicate it's quite high. So I would recommend she gets a HbA1c test. So that would give her the 2-3 months average. That's important, especially if you're not clued up on nutrition and eating a lot of packet food.
What I did, so I'm taking some of the potatoes and I'm just going to put some oil and toss it.
Okay, she's having a little bit of oil.
And then I'm just going to put it in an air fryer so I can make air fried potatoes. With the potatoes, I'm also going...
It's really unnecessary to put that lamp oil in there. You don't have to when you're air frying. That's the whole point. It's great. Just don't bother putting that extra fat. It's better if she gets her calories from sweet fruit. We've only seen one apple. This is a very fruit deficient diet, very low in fruit. And people are dying from not eating enough fruit. Obviously, it's great she's plant-based, but you still have to get in the sweet fruit because you are a frugivore and you will run into health issues.
I'm just going to stick it in the air fryer. And while it's air frying, I'm going to cook up a Beyond Burger. Yes.
It does look pretty gross. It does look like, okay, I know. I mean, like, it's not even a question of it's better than eating animals. Obviously, I don't even have to say that, right? You know that. We know that. But I'm coming from a perspective of, someone who is a plant-based eater who wants other plant-based eaters to be, more educated on the human nutrition and to feel their best and for their health to be the best. You've seen that I have excellent blood tests. I've been doing this for a long, long time. I have a lot of experience. I've coached many people over the past 14 years. So I know what I'm talking about, so I'm trying to help these other individuals who are not educating themselves on what is best to eat. And this is obviously not ideal. I wouldn't recommend this very often at all if you're going to have it at all.
And earlier in the day, I had also roasted some bell pepper. So I had some of that left. So I just plated that along with my air fried asparagus, other piece of bread. I'm adding some Dijon mustard. We're going to spread that. And then we're also going to add some delicious banana peppers. I think these are called.
Oh, I thought there was almost going to be some bananas there, but they're banana peppers. So there's not any sweet fruit here in this diet.
Out of just random things that I had. And there you go. There's my Beyond Burger sandwich. Delicious. It was so good. And then, of course, I've got my lovely sides there. And I have some ketchup with the potatoes and everything. And
okay.
Oh my God. Delicious.
Sure. I'm sure it, tastes good. Although that Beyond Burger thing is like, and the really dry bread. But obviously for a lot of plant-based eaters, they're going to enjoy eating that. And that's fine, okay? You can eat that sometimes, even on Raw Till 4, or not on the Frugivore diet, that's for sure, but even on Raw Till 4. But it's a very cooked food day, right? There's not a lot of fresh here. Fresh, sweet fruit, hydration. So you're really missing out. She's missing out on a lot of freshness. It's good to see that it's obviously plant-based, except for the gummies. So she actually did eat animal bits and pieces this day, which is really quite disturbing after so many years that you don't check the ingredients. And disappointing. But Anyway, that happened. She started her day with drugs, because she's not getting enough sweet fruit. So the human frugivore brain is like, well, give me something, jolt my adrenal glands, give me some energy. But this is not energy, obviously.
And for dessert, I decided to have a cheeky little piece of my intense dark chocolate. I love this chocolate. It is so, so good. And that is...
Okay, so I used to eat this many, many years ago, all right? And you can see she's going to the chocolate because she needs sweetness. There's not a lot of sweetness in what she has prepared at all during the day. So, and one square, it's like, it's like restriction. Of course, she wants to eat more than one square. But this cacao stuff, it is really high in cacao, and that's another iron inhibitor. We know that, okay? It has caffeine in it. Before bed is like a really bad idea too. It can affect your sleep. So obviously this is not good. This is just showing she's not eating enough sweet fruit as a frugivore.
For my What I Ate in a Day, make sure you subscribe and thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in...
All right, so what I have to say about Rose's day is there's not enough fresh. She's obviously going to the drugs because she's not having enough sweet fruit at all. Like, she's got one single apple. It's a sweet fruit deficient diet, heavily sweet fruit deficient. And she's having the chocolate, which is more drugs at the end of the day. It's not great. It is not great. And it's important to create happy, healthy vegans, that are long-term vegan. Obviously, if you go back from vegan, you're not vegan, you're plant-based, but who stay on the lifestyle and actually feel great. But if you eat a lot of cooked food, a lot of processed food, you're not going to feel your best, and you don't get the fruit in, you don't get the freshness in. All right. Yeah. So I definitely recommend that Rose includes more fresh food, a sweet fruit, much, much more, especially for breakfast. And then she's not going to she won't be dependent on drugs to start her day on a substance. All right. That's my video for today. Don't forget to go fruit yourself. Unlike Rose, she did not fruit herself. And you can see she's got something against fruit-based diets. And yeah, it's strange, but it's kind of cool to do that. And she's definitely one of those followers of what is cool, what is trending. When I was trending, she was supporting me, but now I'm not trending as much. She's not supportive, So anyway, don't forget to go fruit yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.